Next topic I am going to take about is motivation. Motivation means motivation forces either acting either or within a person to initiate behavior. The word is derived from the Latin term motivus, a moving cause, which suggests the activating properties of the processes involved in psychological motivation. Psychologists study motivation factors to help explain observed changes in behavior that occur in an individual. Thus, for example, the observation that a person is increasingly likely to open the refrigerator door to look for food as the number of hours since the last meal increases can be understood by invoking the concept of motivation. As the above example suggests, the motivation is not typically measured directly, but rather inferred as a result of behavioral changes in reaction to internal or external stimuli. It is also important to understand that motivation is primarily a performance variable. That is, the effects of changes in motivation are often temporary. An individual highly motivated to perform a particular task because of a motivational change may later show little interest for that task as a result of further change in motivation. Motives are often categorized into primary or basic motives, which are unlearned and common to both animals and humans, and secondary or learned motives, which can differ from animal to animal and person to person. Primary motives are thought to include hunger, thirst, sex, avoidance of pain, and perhaps aggression and fear. Secondary motives typically studied in humans include achievement, power, motivation, and numerous other specialized motives. Motives have also sometimes been classified into pushes and pulls. Push motives concern internal changes that have the effect of triggering specific motive states. Pull motives represent external goals that influence one's behavior toward them. Most motivational situations are in reality a combination of push and pull conditions. For example, hunger in part may be signaled by internal changes in blood glucose or fat stores, but motivation to eat is also heavily influenced by what foods are available. Some foods are more desirable than others and exert an influence on our behavior towards them. Behavior is thus often a complex blend of internal pushes and external pulls. Next, the study of motivation includes psychological, physiological, and philosophical approaches. Motivation has been studied in a variety of ways. For instance, it has been analyzed at the psychological level using electrical and chemical stimulation of the brain. The recording of the electrical brain wave activity with the electroencephalograph and lesion techniques where a portion of the brain is destroyed and subsequent changes in motivation are noted. Physiological studies performed primarily on animals other than humans have demonstrated the importance of certain brain structures in the control of basic motives such as hunger, thirst, sex, aggression, and fear. Motivation may also be analyzed at the individual psychological level. Such analyses attempt to study why people act in a particular way and seek to draw general conclusions from individual cases. Through studies of individuals, for example, it has been found that both men and women proceed through a series of identifiable stages of arousal during behaviors leading to and culminating in sexual intercourse. The finding may be applied to people in general. Motivation of an individual is also influenced by the presence of other people. Social psychologists have been active in discovering how the presence of others in a given situation influences motivation. For example, students and teachers behave in a predictable ways in the classroom. Those behaviors are often quite different, however, from the way students and teachers behave outside the classroom. Studies of conformity, obedience, and helping behavior are three areas in the field that have received considerable attention. Finally, motivation is sometimes also approached from a more philosophical direction. That is, analysis of motivation are understood, at least in part, by examining the particular philosophical point of view espoused by the theorist. For example, some motivational theorists conceive motivation to be an aversive state, one to be avoided. Sigmund Freud viewed motivation process could be applied within this framework. His contention that blocked sexual energy could be displaced into acceptable behaviors implies that accumulation of sexual energy is aversive. And these are all the important meaning of motivation.